The reason Ravenel never felt much like Chiliax, we all learned that day, is because it wasn't part of Chiliax. Not really. Some sort of legal loophole I don't pretend to understand, likely the same exploit Chiliax used to place countless other colonies under its thumb. But Ravenel was always the one part of the old empire that House Thrune didn't clutch as tightly in its claws. The Silver Road along the wide, deep river echoed with songs of dust-shrouded quarries and lively barge hands. The people of Kintargo talked liberty as they haggled over fruit. Fisherfolk looked west to the water for their livelihoods and rarely cared what happened in distant courts. The halflings of the North Plains breathed easier than most, quietly shuttling their kin off to freedom. Nobody ever stopped me from my own prayers to Desna. When they declared Ravenel as an independent nation and said, "We aren't part of Chiliax any longer," I had to ask, were we ever?
Kintargo, the Silver City. I can't speak on Kintargo without first speaking on Ravenel, and I can't talk about Ravenel without first talking about Pathfinder 1st Edition. See, the Adventure Pass in Pathfinder 1st Edition set the setting for Pathfinder 2nd Edition. And so, the Adventure Path of Hell's Rebel was instrumental in setting the stage for Ravenel. So, there will be spoilers ahead for the Adventure Path Hell's Rebels. You have been warned. In 3007 AR, when Taldor founded the province of Chiliax, the region of Ravenel did not officially become part of the Empire due to a clerical error. This error was never corrected, and Ravenel remained an unofficial territory of Taldor and later Chiliax after it seceded in 4081 AR. As Chiliax plunged into civil war after the death of Eredin, Ravenel insisted on independence and became home to many anti-Thrune dissidents, something which House Thrune saw as treason. In 4716, Brasilia Thrune volunteered to take charge of Kintargo, enforcing martial law. As soon as he arrived in Kintargo, Brasilia paid the local Kuthites temple to abduct the former ruler Julia Benelis and transform her into a vampire against her will. 3 days later, Brasilia and his agents struck out against all known or suspected dissidents, driving them off or killing them. He also enacted 7 unjust and darkly whimsical new laws, with which all of Kintargo's citizens would have to abide. In 4717, a group of adventurers helped to depose Brasilia Thrune and uncovered a loophole within the Kintargo contract. In the process, they allowed Ravenel to secede from Chiliax without the threat of military invasion. Julia Benelis has now reclaimed authority over Kintargo, and by extension, Ravenel. Under Julia's leadership, Ravenel has to establish itself as a regional power and maintain cordial relationships with Chiliax and Nadal. Without enough military strength to enforce compliance and unable to afford alienating allies, Julia has to be diplomatic to preserve harmony between her new nation and the desperate factions. Much of Kintargo's past is unknown, in part due to suspected tampering with historical documents and records by agents of House Thrune. But it does look like there is a bright future for Kintargo and Ravenel. Kintargo sprawls from the Yoloblis River northeastern shore onto part of Argo Isle in the river's mouth. Its summers are warm and humid, followed by long, cold, and rainy winters. The city is divided into north and south ends by the Yoloblis River, and the two halves are connected by Bleak Bridge. It is further divided into 8 districts. In North Kintargo, you will find the Greens. It is the noble district at the city's northwest border. The Silver Road leads out of this district's east gates. Schools make up most of the Vilgri district in northwestern Kintargo, including the famed Alabaster Academy. Yolobus Harbor lies in the southern shore of northern Kintargo with merchants, and Bleak Ridge itself doubling as the city's main marketplace. The northern Nightway Gate is rarely used except to welcome visitors from Nadal on the Night Road. The Castle District fills the northwestern point of southern Kintargo and hosts the city's seat of government in Castle Kintargo. Jarvis Inn, just west of the city's southern center, hosts its vibrant nightlife and Kintargo Opera House as its centerpiece. Argo Isle rises to its highest point on Temple Hill, a hill crowned with an impressive building that was once a temple to Eridan, then later a temple to Asmodeus, but now serves as Ravenel's governmental center and is colloquially known as the People's Temple. The Red Roof District is the eastern section of Argo Island and features small shops and comfortable homes made from red bricks, housing much of Kintargo's middle and lower classes. Old buildings and older feuds make up Old Kintargo, a largely industrial area of warehouses, fisheries, tenements, and walled compounds. Gilia Banilis served as the Lord Mayor for Kintargo until 4715 when House Thrun declared martial law over the city and replaced her with Paracount Brasilia Thrun. After Ravenel declared independence from Chiliax and she was resurrected from the dead, she was elected as its first ruler in 4717 and still rules Kintargo today. Lady Mia Lara Decour serves as the founder and headmistress of Lady Decour's School for Girls, but she harbors an unlikely secret, for she is also the chief spy mistress of the Lacunafix. The school provides both cover and a recruiting grounds for the Lacunafix, as headmistress Lady Decour is also the organization's founder. Later, Decour runs the school, which caters almost exclusively to half-elven girls from across Chiliax, but secretly recruits most of her talented pupils into the Lacunafix, a small network of spies and couriers that operate in secret across Chiliax. Laria Longroad serves as beloved proprietor for the Longroads Coffee House in Kintargo, but she also has a secret. She was born a slave in Chiliax, but was later smuggled out by her fellow slaves to the Bellflower Network, where she serves today as a tiller for the organization. She lives a double life and helps slaves from across Chiliax and Nadal to escape to free lives in distant frontier lands of Aricia. After heroes rescued her from the clutches of Brasilia Throne, the aquatic half-elf Shinsen became a leader of the newly resurrected Silver Ravens and helped liberate Ravenel from Chiliax. Since the liberation of Ravenel, Shinsen has grown close to Shamali Manu and has been instrumental in forging bonds between the Silver Ravens and Vidria. She's also allied with Tessa Fairwind, the Hurricane Queen of the Free Captains. So how do we take all this information and implement it into our role-playing games here at our tables? Ravenel just recently broke away from Chiliax, but that doesn't mean that Chiliax is going to peacefully let it go. Likewise, the nation of Nadal, straight to the north, is going to be adding pressure onto the newly found nation. In addition to the adversarial Hell Knights and Devil Worshippers from Chiliax, the proximity to Chiliax might also give an opportunity for your players to play as a hell-spawned Nephilim. Likewise, the proximity to Nadal might inspire your players to play as a fetchling touched by the Shadow Plane. The city of Kintargo is also still haunted by the spirit of Brasilia Thrun. This could open up some opportunities for some great ghost stories and adventures. Kintargo is also a deep sea port, giving you opportunities for creatures from the ocean's depths and aquatic adventures. Speaking of aquatic creatures, Playing Kintargo might offer your players the rare opportunity to play a race such as the Azarketi. Or perhaps they could play a winged Strix from the nearby Ravenel forest. Ravenel and the silver city of Kintargo are just waiting to be explored. Where will your adventures take you?